Tuesday night at 8:30. Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I'm Mistress Carrie. This is episode 123. And yes, I survived the anniversary party. Thank you so much for joining me every Tuesday night at 8:30, where we get to talk about everything. And because today is the night before St. Patrick's Day, I figured we're just going to start the show right off because I don't want to keep them delayed too long. Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys is joining us live in the War Room. Welcome to the War Room, Ken.
It's great. It's great to be in the War Room via my car.
I know
because I didn't make it home on time to get in a well-lit room. So
I know. Well, you know what? That's the way we do things with the War Room. The other night, Mike Shue and I were doing tequila shots on the show. So if you're going to do the show in your car, I'm fine with it.
At least I pulled over.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you for coming on the show. Tomorrow, of course, the Dropkick Murphys live stream concert for St. Patrick's Day, still locked down. Did you think ever that this was going to become the new Dropkick Murphys tradition?
No, I definitely didn't. When we did we did a live stream last St. Patrick's Day, which was fly by the seat of our pants because that St. Patrick's Day was on a Tuesday, and we had a show booked for the starting the weekend on Thursday that got, so we only had like 4 days to pivot from playing to live people to realizing, oh my God, we got a live stream. So I never thought then, but when we did the second live stream from Fenway in May, by then I was saying, I don't think we're going to be back anytime soon. So we're starting to prepare for this way of life. So at least technology gives us this opportunity,
Well, I mean, we've been using all of this modern technology to be able to pull off everything, the War Room, the podcast. I mean, thankfully we have the internet and all of this stuff. Wednesday's camera, the pug cam, I know. It's sad when I put you on the show before the dog, Ken.
No, I couldn't top the dog. So
I just want to show you where you are in the list of priorities.
Trust me, I appreciate that.
Every band that I talk to that's done these live stream concerts talks about how important it is to connect with the fans, but how awkward it is in the moment when you're playing a show and the song ends and it's dead quiet.
Yeah. The first one, our crew is awesome. And we told them, please yell and cheer and scream. And, we knew they were doing it in a mocking way, but it made us feel comfortable. And then, when we did Fenway, I didn't even care. We were on the infield at Fenway. I could keep people. I must have stunk that there were no fans there. I said, I'll take on the grass and the infield of Fenway over fans any day. And there's not
that image was so cool with you guys all like with jerseys on, spread out, socially distancing in the infield. It was very cool.
Yeah. They only allowed 35 people total in the park, and 10 of those were Red Sox, security for the park. So we had 25 people, 8 of which were players. So you're down to 17. There was 7 cameramen, so you're down to 10, for the techs, the roadies, sound man, people doing the stream. It was, I tell you what, those guys should have won a Grammy. They said that's a job normally that would have been a 200-person crew done with basically 17 people,
And you guys have been really busy because this is now going to be your third live stream. And then you found a way to write and record a record at the same time too.
Yeah, that really kept us sane during this whole year because it, gave us something to focus on. Because I think the people that had somewhere to get up and go, that still had a job,
the essential workers probably,
I mean, I'm obviously being frontline was very tough. But if someone was like whatever working in the computers, and they could still have their job, they seem to stay a little more sane than the rest of us that were just legit watching, the news 24 hours a day. So always speaking for me. So when we started to work on the album, it was a positive change on our mentality,
It seems like COVID-19 is going to usher in this whole flood of amazing music because all of the bands have just spent so much downtime at home and looking for that release, like what you're talking about, like looking for a creative outlet in some way. What else were you doing besides working on this record Because you Dropkick Murphys are never home. You guys are road dogs. You're always gone.
Yeah, I got 3 kids, so I spent a lot of time breaking up fights between them. Um, I happen to be a big golfer, so like you know that actually was one of the few things you could do in the pandemic, and yeah, worked on the record, and I don't know, man. It was a slow. I'm not used to not being busy like that. I like to stay busy, like and I'm involved in restaurants, and even those were, at points shut down, and then, I promote boxing, and that shut down. It's like, Jesus, I need to find a pandemic proof, occupation. But it's nice to just have the signs of life returning in terms of, I obviously I don't know what the future holds, but there's at least some talk of things happening, and even if it's just talk, it's nice to talk about it.
Everybody's commenting that you look like a floating head right now because we can only
Yeah,
see your head. You look
I
like you're
know.
on the cover of a Queen album.
It looks like I was just saying, it looks like an album cover head.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do for our next album.
It's just a
Yeah,
little bit of light coming from above
there's
and
my
just your
body. Yeah,
floating head. This is going to end up
that's.
being memes, and I'm already apologizing for the people
I
in the
can't
war room
wait.
that are going to turn you into the Ken Casey floating head.
I love it. I love it.
So I want to talk to you about the single because obviously getting locked down and it didn't soften the Dropkick Murphys edges at all.
Yeah. Oh,
An
you're talking
anthem
about
to the
middle.
finger, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not so much about giving the finger as it is about the inability to not give the finger, and how much trouble that got me in, over my life. And it's the metaphor for the finger of just speaking when you should have listened, maybe. Um, so, just how sometimes I wonder if that's in your DNA, to be a little bit rebellious. And sometimes you got to pay the consequences, but sometimes speaking your mind is worth the consequences.
It comes up a lot on the podcast when I interview bands that aren't from here about Boston and the stories that touring bands that aren't from here tell when they do come here to play shows. Like I talked to Morgan from Seven Dust, and he was like, we were playing a show and people just started chanting Yankees suck because he's such a diehard Yankees fan. And he's
Yeah.
like, there's no other city that acts like that except Boston. And, the song is exactly that rolled
Yeah,
up into a
I
song.
actually I got on the pike the other day, and this woman gave me the finger and beeped, and I was like, what did I even do? I don't know why. And then I watched her drive ahead, and she did the same thing to the next car she passed. So she was just like randomly flipping off everybody. So
Doesn't
I
it
was like,
feel
oh,
good though that after all
yeah,
this
yeah.
time things are starting to get back to normal?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was kind of like, you remember after 9/11 happened, and everyone was, like loved their neighbor for a while, and then that lasted like quite a while until, people went back to just being themselves again. Unity only lasts so long, I suppose, especially on the roadways.
Yeah, right. Did you guys debate back and forth about whether you were going to release the record so early on while everything was locked down? Because every band has kind of had that debate about, well, do we want to release the record if we can't go on tour? Do we want to hold it and wait until? Did I lose you? Oh, I lost your camera.
Sorry.
Your
Uh,
floating
my
head
bro-
is gone. There
my
you are.
brother-in-law called, and he's one of those guys that calls only when you are on a call and he shouldn't call in. Floating heads back.
Floating heads
Yeah, we
back.
sat on it for a while waiting, and then we realized, well, we need to release it, and then we were told the vinyl was backed up so long that we had a 6 month wait, to get the vinyl and the colors we wanted, and we didn't want to release the audio and then make people wait for the vinyl, so we ended up waiting like an extra 3 months to get the vinyl to come out on the same date.
The album covers
So
up on the screen. The vinyl is this amazing, like green and pink and purpley colors, and it's really cool.
yeah, so when you get cool vinyl, it's worth waiting.
I know you've been talking about this a lot because you're doing a lot of interviews promoting the record and obviously the live stream tomorrow night. Um, Telling the story, and it's obviously when we go back and look at the heritage and the legacy of WAF, long God rest its soul. One of the best memories that I have is the St. Patrick's Day parade in Southie because you guys were on our float and you guys getting kicked out and us all getting kicked out. I know you've been telling the story.
Yeah.
From our perspective, or at least my perspective, we're sitting there like, oh my God, the drop kick, like the gear's going to fall off the truck because they were going so fast trying to get you out of there. And on one hand, we're like, we are so fucked. And on the other hand, we're all like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, any band can start a parade. It takes a real band to get kicked out of a parade. And, you know, yeah, for people that weren't there when the float was going down Broadway and fans started to follow the float, the cops were getting a little concerned, but at least the road was wide enough that, people could walk along inside. And then as the parade turns and starts to head back up towards Southie Heights and the roads get narrower and the fans are now stepping over grandma in her chair in front of her house, and the cops are starting to get more and more concerned. And then when we get up by Gate of Heaven and the parade went left, the cops told us to go right. And it was at that moment we realized we were no longer in the parade, but we kind of had our own parade going because the fans kept following us and we kept playing. And then the cops on the horses were telling the truck driver to drive faster so we'd lose the fans. So the truck drivers went faster and we kept playing and the fans were jogging and the gear was sliding around. And yeah, it was fun. I have fond memories of that day.
I remember.
And we'll never be asked back in that parade again.
Right.
Well, that had to have been 15 years ago now, at least
Yeah.
12 or something. It was a long time ago.
And because it was such a huge thing, like we had to bring the flatbed and stuff to a parking lot, like what was it, out by the airport or something? And of course, we didn't plan on ending there. We planned on ending the parade where the parade ends. So they brought us back to the lot where you guys loaded in. None of our cars were there. So we get back there, you guys stop, all of the Dropkick Murphys crew pulls all your gear apart, and me and I think it was Mike Shue and a couple other people from AAF got stranded in the middle of this lot, like in a dirt parking lot somewhere over by the airport or wherever we were. And we were like, this was before Uber. We were like, how the fuck are we going to get home?
Because I was smart enough to jump off in Southie, so I didn't end up over there.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for leaving me because we were all stranded. We ended up walking like 5 miles trying to get back to where our cars were. And we're like, how the fuck did this happen? And we're the ones, and everybody's drunk, like, where are the Dropkicks? Screaming at us. We had all our AAF gear on. And I'm like, how did we get ditched after we got kicked out of a parade? At least you got dropped off and got to go hang out in Southie, but the rest of us ended up in a muddy parking lot somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Thanks a lot, Ken.
You're welcome.
Can you talk to me before I let you go? Because I know you're freezing your ass off, floating your head in your car right now. Can you talk about the stream? It's dkmstream.com, which is where people can go and watch the show. But can you just talk about why you guys decided to do the show for free and kind of what you guys are hoping the fans are going to do?
Sure. So, a lot of bands are selling tickets to their virtual concerts. We just didn't feel right about it. So we decided to kind of pass the virtual hat because, as we talked about earlier, some people are crushed financially in the pandemic and some people are doing all right. So, we said, if you don't have money, don't pay. If you have money, great. And we've been seeing that, like some people give $5, some people give $200. So I think it's all working out probably the same way it would have if we charged for a ticket. It's just it's a little bit nicer to do it this way. And we're proud to say that we've kept the guys working for us, employed and stuff. And so it goes a long way to it's helping us continue to do that. And a lot of bands far bigger than us have not done that. So we like to think of the whole extended family like family. So the shows like this help us continue to keep them employed, and so we appreciate everyone that'll check it out, and appreciate everyone that may or may not donate. And I think you'll like the show. It's we're gonna have video wall on 4 sides, and we'll be kind of surrounded in the middle. So if you're gonna do something virtual with no fans, it's at least nice to take the opportunity to do things that are different that you couldn't do regularly. And then we're also going to be back and do another live stream on May 1st, the day after our album comes out, for a record release party. So we're keeping busy.
Can you talk about, when you do a show like this to take care of your crew, can you talk about how important a crew is? Because when people think of the Dropkick Murphys tours, they obviously think of the bands, right? But to be able to keep up the pace and to be able to put on the shows that you guys do, can you just talk about how impossible that would be without the crew that you have, and why it's so important for you guys to take such good care of them?
Well, I mean, they've been with us for 10, 15 plus years. There's people that, that's just, you have to travel the world with them. Not only do you hope that they'll continue to do a good job for you, but it's nice to travel with people you like. We're not on different buses and stuff. We're on the same buses as they are, and we love these guys, and they'll do anything for us, and we'll do anything for them. So this is the only band I've ever been in, so I don't know what it's like in other bands, but I know in our band, it's all one family. So we love those guys, and we want to make sure that they're in good shape.
And you guys are also selling commemorative T-shirts for the show as well.
Yeah, we've had fun with that. I haven't even seen them for this one, but we had fun with it last time. With tour dates, like go to the supermarket, take the trash out, just whatever, because you can't really do anything. But yeah, there will be event specific merchandise. So check that. All that info will be on the screen, and you can donate during the show and stuff too. And we're donating a portion of all money raised to our charity, the Clatter Fund, that helps people with go to treatment. And the first two charity events the first two streams we did raised a combined $750,000 for charity, just during the donations during the show. So so that was nice, and made the live streams feel like they had a little bit more significance than just playing a show.
I do know that tomorrow night when you guys are playing, because you're going to be live from Boston but sent out to the world via the stream, when you guys end a song and there's no noise, that is as close to being a radio DJ as you will ever experience, because you're there not getting any communication back at all from the people that you're talking to. So that's what it's like to do what I did for 22 years.
Well, we know they'll be cheering in the war room, I hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and everybody's sending love, and so grateful that you joined us in the war room. It's mocktails in the war room, by the way. Whenever we have somebody in the war room that doesn't drink cocktails anymore, and we call them Temple Tuesdays, because people are encouraged to have Shirley Temples because there's no alcohol. So we're having a Temple Tuesday for you, Ken.
Have a nitro cold brew coffee for me, okay?
Oh, there you go.
I think that stuff might get me more jazzed up than any cocaine I ever did in the 80s. So,
well, good luck tomorrow night. All of the details on the album and the stream are up on the screen, and I'll have them linked in this episode as well, so people will be able to watch and celebrate St. Patrick's Day live from Boston with the Dropkick Murphys at 7:00. So happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for everyone that was tuning in, and enjoy the rest of the show. And I'll leave it to the headline on Wednesday now.
Yeah. Just like Spinal Tap. If I've told him once, I've told him a million times. Spinal Tap and then Puppet Show. Good night, Ken.
Oh wait, actually, let me just say, the hosts, we have we have puppets as the host of the stream.
Wait,
Yep.
shut up,
So
really?
yeah,
Wait,
and we made a new music video with puppets. So
wait,
you gotta.
where'd you get the puppets? Where are they? Are they the puppets? Are they?
Which puppets?
I mean, it
The,
might.
it's the guys from the Doghouse out in Waltham. The finest puppeteers you'll ever meet.
No
Well,
way, really?
I may also play one of the puppet voices. The second live stream we're doing in May is going to have even more amazing, out of control puppetry, but we needed more time to film that, so there'll be a little bit. We'll introduce everyone in this show.
2020 and 2021 just keep getting weirder. It's like there's
Getting
UFOs
weirder,
and then Dropkick Murphys concerts hosted by puppets.
Yeah.
Nothing is strange anymore.
Now that I see myself with just this head, I might make myself look like this on the live stream too.
I'm telling you, it looks like a Queen record. Like it's amazing. You're just this floating head. Somebody
like I'm just conscious floating around, just judging everybody.
It's this just giant. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You're just this big giant floating Ken Casey head. I love it. Every time you come on the show from now on out, if I'm lucky enough to get you back, you have to do it from your car because I just want the Ken Casey floating head from now on.
100%. You got it.
The production value is just going through the ceiling now. Just Skyping from the car. All right, Ken. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie.
Everybody sends you love. Good luck tomorrow night.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.
There he is, guys. Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys. And there you go. The floating head, otherwise known as Ken Casey. So huge thanks to him joining us for episode 123 of Cocktails in the War Room. So now I can officially say I had to get him in the window. I had to get him while the head was still floating. So what's going on, everybody? Hey, Eric. What's up, Tracy, Trina, Ron, Keith, Danielle, Diva, Ken as the Wiz as Diva. Oh my God. Fernandez says Bohemian Rhapsody video via the Murphys. Exactly. Did someone say head? Michael says. Somebody that's good with Photoshop and good with computer stuff, can you please make some Ken Casey Dropkick Murphys memes with his floating head? It just needs to happen. Let's see. Joanne says hi. Scott says I'll take some of that shit. Well, there you go. Fucking love Ken, says Mark. Hey, says Melissa. So thank you guys for joining me. And I want to thank everybody before we go any further on with the show. I want to thank everybody for an amazing time on Sunday night. And I want to thank Mike Shue. Where is the... Oh, wait. Here we go. The anniversary party. Where the hell is it? Damn it. I don't even know where the thing is. I told you, the wheels are falling off the wagon. I want to thank everybody that came out to the boat in Drake-It. I want to thank the guys, just the whole staff up there that took such good care of us on Sunday night. For everybody that was there, I know you guys had a great time. And I know from the feedback of everybody watching that even just watching the bonus episode to celebrate our anniversary on March 14th, that the show is a lot of fun. And I'm hoping that we're going to be able to take Cocktails in the War Room on deployment more often. So if you guys have a place that you would like me to bring the show, let me know in the comments. It was good to see you too, Mark. So sad to miss Sunday, said Annie Inch. Don't worry, we'll do it again. Shannon said loves the hair. Thank you. I went and saw Linda. Let's see. Shue sounded rough on Monday morning, says Michael. So Mike Shue left the party and had to go home and then had to get up because he is, of course, if you didn't know, the new host of the morning show on 100 FM The Pike in Worcester. And I had to come back, get into MCHQ and record the sit rep, which is part of the Mistress Carrie podcast, which is when I run down all of your music headlines and rock info and industry info in under 5 minutes. I do it every weekday. And I had not recorded Monday's sit rep before I left for the anniversary party. So by the time I got the sit rep done and got all of the stuff unloaded it was almost 4:00 in the morning. And Mike Shue was getting up at 4:00 in the morning to do the radio show. And he and I were texting on Monday afternoon. And I was like, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. It was so great to see you. He was like, oh my God, tell everybody in the war room. It was so nice meeting everybody. It was an epic party. I loved it. I'm so fucking tired. I need a nap. But he said, but it was worth it. So I know that Mike Shue had a blast. And so I know that he wanted to thank everybody for coming out. Brianna says, yep, sounded exhausted on the set rep. Oh, I totally was. My voice was gone. I was like reading it like this, just trying to stay awake. And, but we got it done. That's one thing that 20 plus years of work at WAF teaches you is how to get shit done still. And Mike was like, well, there's no way, like we're professionals. We can work even though we've been at the boat doing tequila shots. Like we're fully functioning adults. We're going to get this done. It was a blast and it was awesome. And Michael said the show from the boat was great. I had to listen to both on Monday, said Jared. Yeah, to make sure that we were both still fully functioning. And we were. What's your firefighter shirt say? Is that from Iraq and Afghanistan? Eric wants to know. No, it is Engine 33 and Ladder 15. And it is the tribute shirt. Oh, let me move so you can see it. It's the tribute shirt for my friend Mikey Kennedy, and it had a shamrock on it. And so I wanted to wear it tonight. Last year, we did the War Room on St. Patrick's Day, and I busted out the green wig, but I wasn't going to bust out the green wig because it's not St. Patrick's Day. So the next time the War Room falls on St. Patrick's Day, I will put the green wig back on, but I didn't want to totally freak out Ken Casey. So I just thought it had a shamrock on it, so I thought that I would bust out my Mikey Kennedy tribute shirt. So thank you. It was so much fun, says Carol. There seemed to be more recorded air on Monday than normal for him, says Michael. I'm sure it's your fault. I like limoncello now. You're welcome, Ralph. You're welcome. Thank God the sit rep is only 5 minutes and not a full podcast. Brianna, I would never have left a full podcast episode until after the anniversary party. And I'm kicking myself that I didn't even get the sit rep done. That is never going to happen again. Let's see. The blueberry cobbler drink was amazing, says Ash. I totally agree. They made 2 signature cocktails. There was the grape, vodka, and lemonade with the purple sprinkles that they called the Mistress Carrie. And then there was the blueberry cobbler, which was blueberry vodka and Sprite. And they were both delicious. And it had blue stuff in it. So Will says Fernandez is a great guy. Well, of course he is. Of course he is. I was going to actually have Fernandez's sangria tonight, but because Ken Casey was here, I opted for the mocktail in the War Room tonight. So, the blueberry cobbler. Let's see. St. Patty's Day won't be on a Tuesday until 2026. Wow. Okay, Scott. Thanks for being an overachiever. Well, that means that we're going to have to keep the show rolling for a few more years for me to bust out the green wig. Unless we end up having a party or something on St. Patrick's Day next year, which could totally happen. I know. I'm trying to get Wednesday in here, Joe. I don't know where the hell she is, but Wednesday. I need to tell you guys what happened with Wednesday today. Come here. Do you want to come up? Come here. Let me turn the pug cam on. This is one of your new toys that I'm supposed to open in the mail call later, but I will open it early for you. So I want to tell you guys what Wednesday did today. Wednesday, look up in the camera and tell them what you did. See up there? Tell them what you did. Here, do you want this? So today, let me put the side-by-side on there so that you and I can talk at the same time that Wednesday plays with her new toy. What are you doing? Here you go. So today, I'm happy to say that I went back and was able to visit the members of the Mass Army National Guard because my mom got her second COVID shot today. She got the one that's 3 weeks apart, so she went back today. And as we were getting ready to leave to go and get my mom her second shot of the vaccine, give me that. Wednesday was barking, looking out the window, and she got her claw caught in the, you know how there's, if you have central air and central heat, they have the vents in the floor. Wednesday got her claw caught in the vent and ripped her claw out and cut her claw and nicked the quick and started leaving blood all over the house. It was up on the window. It was smeared down the hallway. So I'm in the other room, like finishing getting dressed and getting ready to leave so that I could take my mom to go get her vaccine. And my mom starts yelling because there's a blood splatter. It looked like an episode of Dexter. It looked like the end of Carrie at the prom. There was just a blood slick. She's not that big of a dog. I don't know where the blood all came from, but there was just blood everywhere. So much so that I had to put like towels on the floor and step on them with my shoes and shuffle to mop up the blood. Where are you going? Come over here. No, you can't have that. That's beer that I'm going to talk about later. Stop rushing the show. Ken Casey came on before you. Come here. Because he didn't want to be upstaged by you, little Miss Thing, that bled all over the house, scared the crap out of your mother. Say you're sorry. Can I have a kiss to say sorry? Can I? Will you come and say you're sorry to your mother for scaring the shit out of me? Huh? Come here and say you're sorry. Come here. Come here. Say hi to everybody. And say, I'm sorry for scaring my mother. Everybody, she's fine, by the way. Thank you for all the concern. She's fine. It clotted up and she's okay. But you scared me. You scared me. So I don't know if you guys, wow, she seems okay. She's fine. It wasn't even that big of a deal. It's just like the amount of blood was shocking. Wednesday, come over here. I turned your camera on. I'm not going to keep it on if you're not going to come over here. She wants the beer that we're going to talk about in a little while. You can't have that. Come on. Come over here. Over here. Don't screw with the pillows. This is why I had you come on after Ken Casey. There you go. So anyway, so that was the excitement today. So Wednesday's fine. My mom got the second dose of the vaccine, so everything is really good. So I'm glad she's okay. Poor puppy, says Ashley. Just the blood, says Jeff. Going to Fenway tomorrow for my second COVID vaccine, says Ron. That's fantastic. We love Wednesday, says Joe. Wednesday, love the outfit. Oh my God. So did you guys see the picture of Wednesday wearing the sweatshirt that the guys from the boat made her? It says Wednesday across the front. I put pictures up on her Instagram and up on Facebook and stuff. It's hilarious. She loves it. It fits her perfect. Right? So there you go. There she is. So that's one of her new toys. So when we get to mail call, we'll unpack everything else. But as you can see, just like every other toy that you guys spoil her with, she absolutely loves them all. I've never seen a dog that loves literally every toy. Right? Especially the ones that have like crinkly stuff in them. She loves, can you guys hear the crinkling? Like, come here, let me see. Let me see. The crinkly. She loves the crinkles. She absolutely loves them. So give me that. Give me that. She's a little pain in the ass. Michelle, you have no idea. The quicks bleed like crazy for such a little area. Glad she's okay, says Ash. Yeah, exactly. And it was like the underside of the nail. So then it like peeled a layer of the nail back and it folded back and was like poking the pad. So I had to get out my manicure set with like the weird nail cutters and a nail file. She's bleeding everywhere and I'm trying to clip the little thing. There's blood all over the place and it was a disaster, but she's fine now. It's all good. Right? Will you get off the table? Hey, get down. Get down. Here. You want this? Come back on your camera or I'm going to turn it off. Are you going to come back over here? No, she's just sitting over there looking at me. Fine. We're going to talk about the podcast Wednesday until you come back and want to sit in your camera and say hi to everyone. The hoodie fitter's so good. She looks so cute. Thank you, Ash. So let's talk about episode 40 of the podcast and do a little recap. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie yet. Let me know if you watched it. I know a lot of people did get tickets to watch it. But if you haven't seen it, Jonathan McHugh, the director of Long Live Rock, Celebrate the Chaos, was on the podcast last week talking about the process of making a rock documentary by rock fans, for rock fans, with all of the bands. And he's just such a cool guy. It was so cool to hear him talking about AAF because his mom grew up in Boston and he spent a lot of time here. So he listened to AAF growing up. You want to just sit with me while we talk about the podcast? Huh? Did you guys see, wait, Josh is here? Josh is in the war room? Is that what somebody said? Great podcast. Love the movie, says Donna. Penny says it was so good. Got tickets, but still need to watch it. Well, if you got the tickets, they're good for 30 days. So you can watch the movie for 30 days. That's what are you chewing? This is why Ken had to come on the show first. He can't come on after the dog. Where's the bullet thermos, the purple tip? It's in the other room, actually. There's not that much room on the table here as opposed to the giant table that I had at the boat. So haven't seen the movie yet, says Joe. Just watched it. It was awesome, says Jonathan. Did she do the pug primal scream? That's always scary. She didn't scream. It wasn't that bad, Brianna, but it was bad. Love the girl in the wheelchair crowd surfing. What a badass. The thing that I loved about the movie, and Jonathan talked about it in this episode of the podcast, is that it wasn't just another movie about the rock stars. The movie made the fans the rock stars in a lot of ways, which I absolutely loved, because the bands can't do what they do without us, the fans, being there to love the music. And I loved all of the stories. And it wasn't just the good stuff, but the fans that they chose to highlight in the film talked about how the music has gotten them through not only the highs in their lives, but the lows in their lives as well. And I love that the fans were so represented in the film, which, you are such a dog mom. I love it. I can't help it, Trina. Yes, I was a day late for the movies. Can I still get a ticket for the download? Yes, you can, Betty. The links to everything are still up in, if you go to mistresscarrie.com and go to this episode of the podcast, episode 40, every time there's a podcast episode up, if you go in the show notes, all of the links are there. So you can find Jonathan McHugh's social media pages. You can find the official website for the movie. And so what they're doing is they made the screening a month long. And then they're going to decide how they're going to distribute the movie permanently, whether it's going to end up on a streaming service or whether it's going to end up like on demand, on cable, because the movie was supposed to be screened in theaters, which would have been epic to watch this kind of a movie on giant screens with the huge movie sound system. So if you got tickets to the movie, the tickets are good for 30 days. So yes, you can absolutely still click the link, get the movie tickets, and go and enjoy the film. And I think you're really going to love it. I mean, there's still not an entire world opened up for us yet. So if you hit the end of the internet or you hit the wall on Netflix and you're really looking for something to watch, it makes you feel a little, am I wrong? You guys tell me. It made me feel like I was almost back at a show. Like it was so nice to see the world functioning normally, because obviously the movie was filmed before the lockdown. So that was cool. I liked how they explained the crowd surfing and managing the people. Yeah, they interviewed the security guards. They interviewed so many different bands. Whether or not they're going to release it on DVD, Shannon. Carrie, were you hung over from the concert at the boat? Heidi wants to know. Hung over? Come on, man. Mike Shue and I are professionals. Made me miss concerts so bad, says Danielle. I totally agree. Do we get to see the Q&A again if we rewatch? Brianna, I do not know the answer to that question, but if you got a ticket and you got the codes, try and use them and see. Not much for digital downloads, Betty says. Yeah, it depends on how they're going to release it. I'm sure they're going to release it in a bunch of different ways. It would be cool in virtual reality, Joe. I totally agree. So I'm glad that you guys love not only the movie, but also One of the things I loved about the episode wasn't about the movie at all, but it was listening to Jonathan's stories about his teenage years growing up, going to rock concerts and going to see Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Kiss when he was a young teenager, and his stories were epic. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me get that wire to hang, and it's driving me crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed his stories too. I think so. I watched it the next day. I miss working barricade and catching the crowd surfer, says Scott. Tina Turner documentary on HBO on March 27th. She is now 81 years old now. Yeah. And can you believe up for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year? Can you fucking believe Tina Turner's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That's insane to me because she needs to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which leads me to this week's episode of the podcast. Oh my God. You guys are going to love this episode. It was so much fun to record. I could not believe it. Literally screamed when I found out that this week's guest was willing to come on the podcast. And this week's guest on the podcast is the first, but not the last, inducted member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's hint number one. I cannot wait for this episode to go live at midnight because I think you guys are going to love it. Episode 41 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live in a little under 3 hours, and it features Alice motherfucking Cooper. Alice Cooper's on the podcast this week, and oh my God, is it awesome. So Alice Cooper has a new album out called Detroit Stories with a bunch of amazing covers from awesome Detroit bands, and we had a great conversation. We talked about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction and how he feels not only about getting inducted, but also about rock and heavy metal's representation. Had a long conversation about that. We talked about the crazy stories of coming up as the Alice Cooper band in the 60s and 70s. We talked a lot about the Hollywood Vampires back in the heyday. He talked about Keith Moon and what it was like to be around him and what it's like to be in a band with Johnny Depp and Joe Perry, and just started name dropping all of these amazing artists that he has worked with over the years. I will tell you, because you guys know me. Yeah, holy fucking shit is right, Mark. Exactly. Betty says, woo, yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome, says Christine. My mind is blown, says Monica. So I'm at Foxwoods and it was awesome, said Scott. So let me tell you, there are a lot of things that you could talk to Alice Cooper about. You could talk to Alice Cooper about his career. You could talk to Alice Cooper about his new record. You could talk to Alice Cooper about a lot of things. I wanted to make sure I talked to Alice Cooper about the goddamn Muppets. And we talked about the Muppets. And I'm not going to give anything of the interview away because I want you to just hear it. I want you to hear how he talked about the experience. But as a lifelong, passionate Muppets fan, to talk to someone that was on the original show and to hear what his experience was like was a dream for me. And hearing him and his side of it and what it was like for him and how excited he was to talk about it made my day. We're not worthy. Exactly, Eric. And I will also tell you guys this. Alice Cooper has been married for 1,000 years. Him and his wife have literally been through it all. And he talked a lot about his personal life versus his public life of being Alice Cooper and how he has to leave Alice on stage and how that led to him getting sober and the longevity of his career and the survival of his marriage. Alice Cooper gave me marriage advice when I told him that I was a newlywed. So this episode is not just about the music, but Alice Cooper gave me marital advice and he talked about the Muppets. Subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast. Now, one thing I want to say about that is it came out recently that Apple, who is the largest provider of podcasts still on the internet, has come out and changed the verbiage that they're going to use for podcasting. And so now they're telling people to follow, because the word subscribe confuses a lot of people into thinking that they need to pay to listen to podcasts when you say subscribe. The Mistress Carrie podcast is free, like a lot of other podcasts are. That's why there's advertising on it. And that's how I make a living, is to bring in the sponsorship on the podcast. So if you follow the Mistress Carrie podcast on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts, because there are a ton of places that you can listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast, follow it, subscribe. You do not want to miss the Alice Cooper episode, because it was such a dream to have him on the podcast. I was so honored that he graced me with his presence, and that he was so candid and was just such a joy to talk to. And Frank says, Alice Cooper is so fucking awesome. He's a legend. Yeah, exactly. I cannot freaking wait for this episode. I am so psyched, says Eric. Best day ever. I'm telling you guys, I was so excited to have him on, and he was so gracious. And so if you subscribe or follow the Mistress Carrie podcast, not only do you get the weekly episodes, but you also get the sit reps, which is the situation report. And the sit rep, you get one every Monday through Friday. They upload in the middle of the night, so no matter how early you get up in the morning, it's there waiting for you. It only takes 5 minutes, but it runs down all of the headlines and your rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates. And when you get the podcast, if you follow or subscribe, then the episodes automatically come to you and you'll get alerted. And I do want to tell you that for anybody that missed Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys earlier in the show tonight, not only will the episode video stay up on Facebook, but I also upload every episode of Cocktails in the War Room up onto my YouTube channel. And the episodes live on mistresscarrie.com. But for people that want to hear Ken Casey, like maybe while they're driving tomorrow or working out tomorrow or while they're working tomorrow, I also take the interviews that we do with the guests in the War Room and put them up as bonus episodes of the podcast. And we call those after action reports, which is what we did with Mark LaBelle from Dirty Honey. It's what we did with Mike Mushok from Saint Asonia and Stained. It's what we did with Rob Dietrich, who was Metallica's whiskey distiller that came on the show, Kevin Barbary, Maddie Blake, Stiz Grimy, all of the different guests we've had in the War Room. I always put those up as bonus episodes of the podcast. So if you hit follow or click subscribe or whatever it is that you do, there's going to be a ton of stuff to listen to tomorrow, because you're going to get the episode with Alice Cooper, which is coming up at midnight. You're going to get the sit rep at 3 a.m. and the after action report with Ken Casey. So there's going to be a ton of stuff to celebrate St. Patrick's Day tomorrow on the podcast. So excited to hear you talking about, Betty, I'm telling you, it was just, it's freaking Alice Cooper. And like I said, he is the first but not the last inductee in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's another one coming up in the next few weeks. Mind blown. Not going to give it away though. Okay. Guys, I talked about the podcast outlets. We need to talk about the locations, because we have hit 100 countries for the podcast, and we want to welcome the Faroe Islands. You know what else I found out today? Not only are we at 100 countries, but out of all of the countries that listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast outside of the United States, the number 2 country is Germany, which blows my mind. So hello to everyone that listens to the podcast in Germany. You guys are amazing. You rock. I don't know how the people in Germany are finding out about the Mistress Carrie podcast, but they obviously are. So there you go. We got to say hello to everybody in Germany. And I also want to thank Digital Federal Credit Union for sponsoring this week's episode of the podcast and sponsoring the podcast for the entire year. If you go to dcu.org/careers, DCU is actually hiring right now for full and part-time employees. So if you're looking for a new gig, the list of benefits and incentives is pretty long. Paid vacation, tuition reimbursement, 401k. There's a ton of stuff that they offer. So if you're looking for a new gig or a new opportunity, go to dcu.org/careers and check it out. And maybe there's something there for you. Obviously, there are a bunch of cool people over there at DCU because they sponsor the Mistress Carrie podcast. So there you go. Music headlines, shall we? As we talked about with Ken Casey earlier in this episode, the Dropkick Murphys free live stream is happening tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And their new album, Turn Up That Dial, comes out on April 30th. And as you heard him talking about it, you can pre-order the record. The vinyl is really cool. If you are a collector of all things vinyl, you should definitely check it out. U2 also announced this week that they are releasing a concert series called The Virtual Road. It's 4 concerts that happened back in the band's history, and they're making these concerts available for the first time. The first one, it goes live tomorrow. I put the links up for the Dropkick show and the U2 stream up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com with the links so you can connect to the stream and be able to watch the show. And all 4 dates of all 4 of the U2 shows are right there. Candlebox, as we've been talking about, is a new record coming out September 17th called Wolves. Speaking of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the fan voting is still open until April 30th. When you hear Alice Cooper in episode 41 of the podcast talking about the Rock Hall, how he feels about it, what it was like to get inducted, and what he thinks about rock and metal's representation, it's only going to give you incentive to go, and vote for all of the rock acts that are nominated this year. Rage Against the Machine, the Foo Fighters, Devo, the New York Dolls, Iron Maiden, Todd Rundgren, and the Go-Go's are all nominated, along with a host of other artists, but these are the rock artists, and these are the ones that need the most support. We also got word that Dirty Honey has got their self-titled debut full-length album coming out on April 23rd. All the other music we've heard from Dirty Honey so far came off their original EP. Now we're getting a full-length record, and California Dreamin' is the first single, which is out now, but the album comes out on April 23rd. And also, we talked about it the other night with Mike Shue. The announcement came out that the big gig has been postponed. It's still happening with headliners Godsmack at the DCU Center on April 30th, but it's in 2022. So those are all of your headlines. Guys, Mail Call is epic this week. Oh my God. So I don't even know where to start, so I guess I'm going to start with Chris Daughtry. All I can say is you guys are so unbelievable, because not only is there 100 countries listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast, but I wouldn't have the opportunity to be able to talk to people like Alice Cooper or to be able to do the things that I'm doing if you guys weren't listening and watching the show. And word is spreading, because today I checked the mail and I got a package from Chris Daughtry, who, of course, we all know is on American Idol, but he has a new record coming out, and it's a rock record, and the first single is really good. I know he took a lot of crap from a lot of rock fans over the years because he was associated with American Idol, and that's not a very rock thing to do. But his new music, there is no doubt that he is a rock artist. He is also producing his own beer, and he sent me some. And this is what it looks like. It's called Daughtry September Ale. And I want to thank Chris Daughtry for sending me beer for the War Room. I have not tried it yet. I just opened it today, so it's not even cold yet. But we're going to have to do a tasting, and maybe I'll try and get him to come in the War Room now that I know about the beer. And maybe we could get a tasting with him here in the War Room. So I'm going to work on that. So I want to thank him for sending me beer into the War Room, which I think is pretty badass. So thank you. I told you I'm getting some really cool stuff, which is unbelievable. I got a lot of stuff in purple tissue paper, which makes me happy. All right, let's see. I want to open that one last. Okay, then I got this note. Let me move the box over here. Got this note that says, "Hey, Carrie, met you years ago when WAF was doing a promotion at a motorcycle shop in Whitman across the street from a supermarket. I'm not sure if you even remember, but the shop is now a hardware store of sorts. I was saddened to hear about the sale of AAF last year, but glad that Cocktails in the War Room took off. Congratulations on the success of the War Room and everything else that you've accomplished in the past year. Here's a little anniversary present for you on Wednesday. All my best, Shannon." So thank you very much, Shannon. She's the one that sent this amazing purple squeaky toy for Wednesday that crinkles, and you know she loves that so much. She also sent roses for Wednesday, and it's like a real dog toy, which is like the cutest thing ever. So Wednesday, I don't even know where she is, but she got roses. And then there's also some Pez for my collection. I got a purple crayon, and also, yes, the Mandalorian Pez. Look at the little mini. Oh, baby Yoda. So thank you, Shannon. I love it. Then the other thing that came in this week in mail call, I got to read you the card first. It says, hope is the light within. And the inside says, the goodness in you brings out the goodness in everyone around you. That's how bright your light shines. Thanks for, that's how strong you are. And it says, thanks for cocktails in the war room. I haven't missed a night. Love, Christine. So Christine, thank you very much. I really appreciate the sweet words and all the support and the fact that you've been here for 123 episodes. Wait until you see what she bought me. I can't even fucking handle it. So funny. I almost wore it tonight, but I didn't want to ruin the surprise because I wanted to unveil it in the mail call. She bought me a Cheez-It t-shirt. Oh my God, I love this so much. You'd never go for the Cheez-It, man. Never. And I don't ever want the Cheez-It people to think that I don't love Cheez-Its, because I totally do. You just need to go to my blog at mistresscarrie.com and read the dictionary, because it's a story that I told here in the war room about Cheez-Its and someone else eating Cheez-Its. But it's not derogatory towards the Cheez-Its. It just happened to be Cheez-Its that were the snack in question. But now Cheez-Its have become part of the war room lore. And now I have a t-shirt. Jen says, awesome. Oh my God, says Michelle. That's so cheese, says Heidi. Epic, says Penny. That is awesome, says Julia. I know. Never try to grab the cheese. No, you never go for the Cheez-Its, man. Never, ever, ever go for the Cheez-Its. Even though I love the Cheez-Its. Mark says, that's hilarious. Full on Cheez-Its, says Monica. I know, exactly. So once again, like, I'm so grateful when you guys send me these heartfelt letters and cards and these amazing surprise like gifts. Like, you guys don't have to send me anything, but you guys know how much I love it when you send me this mail and I open it up and I'm like, where the hell do you guys even find some of this stuff? You guys are just, the show the other night was awesome at the boat. Thank you, Kayla. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Can we grab the Cheez-Its? No. If I wear that shirt, you're definitely not grabbing the Cheez-Its, you perverts. Blueberry cobbler time, Michelle says. Yes, it's in the lexicon, Kevin. Thank you for the word. Absolutely. Cheers to the cocktails in the war room lexicon. Friggin' hilarious. Okay. I also just want to remind everybody, there were a lot of people that were at the party on Sunday night that were looking for hoodies and beanies and some of the other cool stuff that people wore to the party. We only brought War Room t-shirts and beer koozies because it was a party. But you can still go to mistresscarrie.com and get all of that other stuff because it's all still in stock on the website. And when you place an order, it gets processed really quickly because I'm on the ball. So I want to thank everybody for wearing all the gear. When we were packing up later on at night, the guys from the boat were like, pretty much everybody in here was wearing cocktails in the War Room shirts. And I was like, I know, isn't it cool? Like, I love seeing people out wearing them. And I want to thank my sister who showed up to sell the shirts for me because I couldn't do that and do tequila shots with Mike Shue simultaneously. I mean, I could have tried, but I just love seeing you guys out and tagging me in the pictures. If you guys took pictures from Sunday night, please put them up on Instagram and tag me and Mike Shue. Put them up on Twitter, put them up on Facebook. Send us the pictures because the pictures are amazing. We took a lot of great pics. We had to keep the masks on. That was the other thing. Can I just tell you guys that Devin and everybody at the boat was raving about how everybody was so respectful of the club because they could get in a lot of trouble, especially live on the internet, streaming the video, if people didn't have their masks on when they're supposed to, when they're up and moving around. And they were like, we didn't even really have to say anything to anybody. Like a couple people innocently forgot, but otherwise nobody gave the staff any crap about the masks. They were just so grateful that everyone had such a good time and that everybody was just so cool. So they were like, on Tuesday night when you go on the show, can you just tell everybody, thank you for being so cool? So thank you for being so cool on Sunday night. And hopefully we'll be able to do it again. So if you saw anybody wearing anything at the boat that, you weren't able to pick up, everything is in stock at mistresscarrie.com. Happy birthday to Nancy Wilson and Flava Flav today. So if today is your birthday, we always celebrate birthdays here in the War Room. Cheers to you. It's also the anniversary of Pearl Jam's Unplugged on MTV. They recorded it on this date back in 1992, which is mind-blowing. Melissa says your sister is bomb. She did great. She did do great. Her and I grew up working in the family business together, so she knows what she's doing. So happy birthday. You share it with Nancy Wilson and Flavor Flav if today is your birthday. I got to meet a lot of people with Mistress Carrie backstage passes. So thank you guys, everybody that has them. One of the things that I talked to the guys at the boat about is eventually being able to have a backstage pass only event. And I definitely think it's something that we're going to do as we move forward into the future, and we can actually start having real events without masks, and we can mingle and not socially distance. And it's definitely something that I want to do and is in the works for the people that have the backstage passes. If you don't know what they are, you can get a backstage pass on Patreon. And I am always posting, putting up pictures, communicating with everybody. It's a smaller group. We always do private live streams, which we have to do one in March. I just got to set the date for it. Now that the anniversary party's out of the way, I can focus on that. And also, not only do you get first crack at merch, and in a lot of cases, an opinion and feedback on the merch that we're making and some new stuff that we should make, but you also get discount codes to be able to buy stuff out of the store at a discount. And so this month, everybody with a backstage pass gets a discount code for $10 or 10% off of everything in the store at mistresscarrie.com. So thanks to everybody that has backstage passes. And if you want to get yours, you can go to patreon.com/mistresscarrie or click the link up in the top, whichever way your screen is, the top right-hand corner of mistresscarrie.com, and there's a link up there as well. And then just to remind you of all the places you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I've been making more videos and TikToks of Wednesday slowly, and I'm going to continue to make more and more TikToks and stuff. So I'm on TikTok, and then Cameo, as it gets nicer, as people are celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, retirements, whatever it is, if you're looking for a gift for somebody that has everything, you can get me to make a custom Cameo video, which is a video specifically tailored to that person. And you do it through Cameo. You tell me everything that you want me to say about the person, and then you get the download, and you can give the video to the person as a gift, and they can put it up on their social media pages. Alice Cooper also has a Cameo account, and he makes videos too, which is really cool. And of course, in case you missed the announcement, Alice Cooper is the guest on episode 41 of the Mistress Carrie podcast this week. Episode goes live at midnight. Holy damn it. Holy fucking shit. This guy right here is on the podcast. Alice Cooper's on the podcast. So if you're looking for something for that person that has everything, you can get him a Cameo of either me or Alice Cooper. So there you go. Is there anything we missed? I don't think so. I want to thank Kenny Casey for coming on Cocktails in the War Room. I want to thank Mike Shue and the staff up at the boat for having the anniversary party that we all wanted and loved. And even though COVID-19 has made things very difficult, being able to have a party and to get to meet some of you guys and to see the faces. When I met people and was able to talk to them up close, we had to have our masks on. But when we were doing the actual show and everybody was seated at their tables, everybody got to take their masks off because they were socially distancing. And it was so crazy to see all of your faces for real in person rather than seeing the comment stream that's on my screen with all whatever your profile picture is on Facebook. That's what I see here in the War Room. So it was so crazy to see your actual faces. And it was so amazing to get to meet you guys. I can't wait to do it again. Thank you so much for coming and for having such a good time and for watching every week and for continuing to make this show grow and for supporting the podcast and the sit rep and everything else that we're doing. If half of the stuff that we are working on actually happens, it's going to be an amazing rest of the year. And everything that I'm hearing right now, if the vaccine gets rolled out the way that they're talking about it, there's going to be shows. I mean, Live Nation announced Dinosaur Jr. is playing at the House of Blues in November, and tickets are going on sale this Friday. Shows are getting announced, and they're going on sale. Like, the world is starting to open back up again, and I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do this stuff more often. I'm also hoping that if a concert ends up falling on a Tuesday, that maybe the bands will let me set up a War Room on deployment situation backstage at the shows, and we'll be able to have bands in person and be able to do the War Room with the bands too. So I can't wait. So thank you guys for everything. It's been a blast so far, 123 episodes in and so many more to go. And at midnight, Alice freaking Cooper. I hope you love the episode. I can't wait to have a recap next week and to hear what you guys thought of it. Thank you, Kenny Casey. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Good night, everybody.